Just get in already!
I refuse.
You can't squash spiders without a good night's sleep!
I won't usurp a lady from her bed,
he squawked, appalled by your relentless demand for discomfort.
What kind of person do you take me for?
Stop being so stubborn! I'm the host and you're my guest! It would be rude of you to reject my hospitality! The two of you stared at each other in a stalemate. Your lips pursed in frustration. Suddenly, a brilliant idea came to your mind. Unfortunately, you saw the same plan flicker before his ashen eyes. Both of you simultaneously rushed away from the bed at maximum speed, but you managed to launch yourself onto the couch first. He had the mind to quickly yank the piece of furniture out from under you before you could land, as he had ample time to do so, but he realized that would nullify all his credibility as a gentleman, which was what he was trying to accomplish here in the first place. You gripped the plush the instant your belly made contact with the cushion, just in case he had the idea to rip you off of it. That was an altercation you stood no chance of winning. Though you hadn't outright compared your aura to his when he arrived a few hours ago, you could already tell his strength had long surpassed yours.
"Oh no, Kurapika!"
you called out, voice saturated with falseness.
"I guess there's no more room on the couch. Wherever will you sleep?"
The blonde let out a sigh, finding it increasingly difficult to hold back a smile at your playful dramatization.
"One night,"
he huffed curtly, crossing his arms.
He.
You donned a big satisfied grin, and he was instantly reminded of all the reasons why he missed you.
"Only because I can't say no to you."
The frustration in his brow melted away to reveal a warm smile.
"Sleep well, traveler. I look forward to catching up with you in the morning."
He turned back towards the small bed of your studio apartment, before stopping dead in his tracks.
"Oh dear."
"What's wrong, Kurapika?" He glanced at the bed and then back at you.
"It seems you don't have any blankets. You really ought to get yourself some."
He touched a finger to his lips in concern, but you couldn't overlook the clear twinkle of mischief in his eyes. As if I'd fall for that old trick. Nice try, though. You knew the instant your butt left the couch he would swiftly claim your spot.
"What?"
the blonde exclaimed impishly.
"I haven't the faintest idea what you mean. I just want my gracious host to be comfortable."
"Know what?" You crossed your arms and legs with resolve. "I don't need any. So there." You stuck your tongue out at him and he chuckled. Finally, he took the loss gracefully and turned out the light. Though your stubbornness was a handful at times, Kurapika couldn't help but perceive the good intentions that dwelled therein. Your childish ways somehow beheld a mature sense of altruism, and that was something he greatly appreciated. In fact, he even admitted to himself that he felt an underlying urge to preserve this refreshing level of innocence in you. This left him feeling conflicted when he finally sunk down into the cushy mattress. What dark and perilous paths would you trek if you walked by his side? He wondered. The natural light made you squint as it cast its assault on your apartment. You moved to rub your eyes before noticing your arm was caught under something. A blanket. The corners of your lips turned upward. Of course Kurapika never intended to let you freeze during the night. He was much too magnanimous for that.
"Hey, did you sleep okay?"
your temporary roommate called out brightly.
Like a rock."
You peeked over the couch to where he stood, busying himself in the kitchen. "And you?"
"Yes, it was very comfortable. Thank you."
As the skillet clanged against the stove, you groggily made your way over to the kitchen table to set it. It was small and round and only big enough for 2 people, but fortunately that's all you needed for this occasion. The kitchen was much too tiny as well. Rent was high in a big city like this. You bopped him with your hips twice in the process of reaching the toaster, then again when you pulled out the silverware drawer. You both muttered simultaneous apologies with each collision. Sorry.
"Pardon me."
Sorry.
How is it?
He asked when you took your first bite of the dish he prepared.
Delicious, thank you.
You hummed in delight at the way the herbs enhanced the flavor of the eggs.
It's an old recipe from back home. I was honestly surprised you had all the ingredients.
Well, my mom was a gourmet hunter, so... You shrugged and left it at that, figuring that more than explained your overstocked kitchen.
You never told me that.
I neglected to mention it before, since Menchie was such a pain about it during the exam. He nodded in understanding, and the conversation fell dead in the water. The two of you ate in silence for a while, before he finally decided to address the elephant in the room.
Are you sure you want to do this?
His pewter gaze locked onto yours.
You don't owe me anything at all. There's truly no reason for you to compromise your safety to help me exact revenge.
He reached for your hand, as if touch was the only way to convey the seriousness of his inquiry.
If I'm being honest, I'm not exactly anxious to see you follow me to a gruesome end.
You're so dramatic. The young man looked offended by your flagrant lampoonery in the face of a life-or-death situation. You interjected before he could chastise you for it. God didn't make us help him through the testing gate. Yet we pushed that stupid door for 20 days. You swallowed your mouthful of toast before continuing. Look, this is important to you. So of course I'll help you. You gave his hand a reassuring squeeze and his grimace softened. What else are friends for?
I'll pay you,
he offered, perhaps trying to curb his guilt by imparting some kind of compensation for your kindness.
I found a potential client that might get me stronger connections with the auction. Assuming I'm hired, I can promise you won't have to worry about finances while you're helping me.
I don't come cheap, you know. You teased, but it was more than enough testimony to constitute a deal in his mind.
Good. You should know how valuable you are.
Kurapika donned an appreciative smile. What, did your Nen instructor teach you flattery too? You quirked an eyebrow at him and he chuckled. You clapped and rubbed your hands together suddenly, regaining his attention from the meal. So then, my partner in crime, shall we get started?